Hey, how you doing? I'm CK. This is my kitchen. This is my kitchen channel. This is CK's kitchen channel on the YouTubes. I recently put up a video of making borscht, which is my father's favorite soup that his mother used to make, but my mother doesn't make it, so I had to make it. So I was over at my mother's house making my father's soup, which is his mother's soup, which he likes and I make for him, so it was my soup. Watch that video. You can learn how to make borscht the way my family makes it. There's a million different ways. But while I was there, let me tell you something. Ma pulled me aside and she said, look what I found. And she gave me an index card with her beautiful penmanship on it that had the recipe for spinach noodle kugel, one of my favorite dishes that she used to make. And I tell you, since then I have Googled it and recipes almost identical come up in a Google search. So apparently it is not a rare dish. I could have found out how to make this at any time, but I did not. Tonight, I'm going to make it and I'm going to share it with you. It's got some flexibility to it, and I'll explain it as we go along. So these are the ingredients for the spinach kugel. It's got some cream, and you can use non-dairy cream, or I see other things on the web. I'm using half and half. You got egg noodles, not lasagna noodles. Let me just say that right now. It goes in a lasagna pan. So if you were thinking lasagna noodles, that would be a mistake. Egg noodles. You got it? Wide, extra wide, whatever you want. Spinach. My mom's recipe calls for a package of thawed frozen spinach. So as Vincenzo would say, previously frozen spinach. I was in a discount grocery store. They didn't get that. They didn't have that, you know. So I just got fresh spinach and I'm going to wilt it. Yeah. Calls for some eggs, some butter, some onion soup mix. A little shortcut recipe. You could do it with onions and spices, but I'm lazy. But you will see there's other things here on the display. That's because who's going to eat just noodle kugel for dinner? I'm making a meatloaf. So my meatloaf ingredients is here also. And you know, meatloaf ain't special, so why am I showing you the meatloaf? Just because. And you know, I remember when Vincenzo was but a tot, we would sit and we'd watch Phineas and Ferb on the Disney Channel, and they had a whole episode dedicated to, oh, nobody likes meatloaf except my recipe for meatloaf. Here's what I don't understand. My recipe for meatloaf is 95% the recipe on the side of every box of powdered onion soup mix. Just follow the recipe on the onion soup mix. I don't know who invented that. Did Mr. Lipton invent it? I don't know. It's on everybody's box. I'm going to make a couple of changes to it, but basically just do that and people will like your meatloaf. It ain't that hard. It ain't rocket science. It's meatloaf. In my case, it's going to be a turkey loaf because I got turkey. But we're gonna jazz it up. We'll use some Worcestershire sauce and some kitchen bouquet and jazz up the turkey, make it look like real meat. So first thing we're gonna do is I gotta boil some noodles, and I'm gonna get that boiling, and I'm gonna start prepping the meatloaf. I'm gonna do that first once the noodles are boiling because that's what takes longer. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the noodles is boiling away. They're at a nice rapid boil, so we'll be ready for the noodle dish. But first we're gonna do the meatloaf, get it good and going, right? So yeah, so I'm doing 2 pounds of ground turkey because Peg wants the turkey. She says, you know, it doesn't kill you as fast, all that stuff, but it doesn't taste good either, right? So what I'm gonna do to jack the taste up a little bit is I'm gonna put like a tablespoon and a half of Worcestershire sauce in there, because I feel like that gives it a little the umami that turkey is missing compared to beef, you know? So that, to me, that ups the turkey flavor. And the turkey doesn't come out as brown as I would like in a meatloaf, but I'm gonna add a little of this kitchen bouquet. If you remember my pot roast recipe, I used it in my pot roast recipe for flavoring, because it's a browning and seasoning sauce, I seasoned, but I'm using it for browning. It's basically like molasses and some flavor, some spices, some seasons. So a squirt of that should help darken this up a little bit, right? Put those aside. Other ingredients, 1 packet of onion soup mix. Like I said, it's a shortcut meal. This is any night of the week meal. CK's at work right now. She's working retail, so she's at work, and when she gets back, this will be ready for her. And then just get 2 eggs. Just gonna crack them right in there. Two eggs right there, and then it gets about, what is this? This is a measuring cup. Isn't this nice? Peggy got me this thing. It's like the perfect measuring cup for every size. I got every size in the world. This one's a 2/3 cup, so this must be 2/3 of breadcrumbs. I'm using unseasoned panko because that's what I got in the cabinet. I always recommend unseasoned because you can add seasoning. You can't take it out, you know? So there you go. And then it needs about, what does it say? 1/3 of ketchup, just regular ketchup, your favorite brand. And then it gets, what's this, 3 cups of quarter water. I'm just pouring it on top of the ketchup to get some of the extra ketchup out. Bada boom, bada boom. And that's it. Then we take our tools, our hands, and we wash up. Actually, I'm going to wash my hands real fast. There'll be an edit. You won't even notice. Now that my hands is nice and clean, I will use them as the mixing tools they were intended to be to just mix all this up. So like I say, I just move it into a metal pan. Get as much out as I can so we don't waste it. And then just kind of shape it into a loafy type shape. Turkey doesn't firm up quite as well as beef does, so you get a little looser loaf, but you know, it's going to taste fine. And in our family, we like to either serve it with bread on the side, or more appropriately, the next day as a sub. You know, you make a hero out of it the next day. You know, you get a little grind out of it. You get a sandwich. Did I use every word? Did I use every word you could use? I think I used every word. No one's going to get mad at me. Okay, so this is ready to go. I'll show you. And I'm going to pause the camera and clean up the bowl because I need it again. And don't do it yet, Vincenzo. Don't do it yet. I'm talking. He's very itchy on the pause finger. I'm going to clean this stuff up, and so we'll move on to the spinach kugel portion of the program. Okay, we're at the mixing portion of the kugel. So I wilted down that spinach and then drained it as best I could. I measured out 1.5 pints and half. We don't need this. That was from the meatloaf. We got some onion soup mix. We got 1/2 stick of butter melted. Sorry, Vincenzo, don't scowl at me. Formerly 1/2 stick of butter, now melted butter that used to be in the form of 1/2 stick. And 3 eggs left. So this is easy. We're just going to combine, and then we're going to put it in a lasagna container. But don't forget, even though we're putting it in a lasagna pan, these are egg noodles. They're not lasagna noodles. Get that right. That's not a mistake you want to make. Like, you're dating someone and you make this the first holiday dinner, that relationship is going nowhere. All right. So we pour all this stuff in. And again, I'm going to pour the butter on top of the cream on top of the butter thing to make sure I got it all in. My spinach. And then 3 eggs. Egg 1. These are chicken eggs, by the way. They're not ostrich. They're not robin. They're not even duck. Chicken eggs. I use chicken eggs when I cook. I don't know what you use. I use chicken eggs. Why did you even ask? Then I'm going to use these mixing things. I just washed them, trust me, because I was rinsing the spinach, so my hands were green if I didn't wash my hands, okay? I'm going to mix all this together. Mix it throughout. My hands are clean. I washed them. I cleaned my workspace. I'm not covered in spinach and cream. I'm going to pour this into like a 9 by 13. I guess I didn't measure it. That's what I think it's called. A lasagna shaped kind of pan. But once again, egg noodles. Gonna smooth it out. Now, at this point, you could have added other things. You could have added cheese. You could add breadcrumbs on top, or cornflakes on top, anything like that. That would be all fine. I'm not going to do that right now because I haven't made this personally before. And I'm hoping I'm able to crisp up the noodles on top enough that I don't need breading on top. That's my hope. But maybe in the future I'll change it up. We'll see. I got the oven preheated to 350. Both the meatloaf and The kugel need about an hour at 350. So that's a match made in heaven. So the meatloaf is waiting on top of the stove. It's going to go in. This is going to go in about 350, about an hour. I'll see you in about an hour. Now, to be honest, Peggy ain't feeling so good. She's upstairs in bed. So this is going to be her meal in bed. But first, I'm going to try it. I gotta try it before I bring it up to her, right? So a little bit of the turkey loaf. It's really good, especially for turkey, because the Worcestershire makes the turkey taste better, you know? It's good. You could glaze it with barbecue sauce or more ketchup or tomato or whatever you want. We're a naked family, you know? Now let's try a little bit of noodle kugel. I ain't never made this before. This is exciting. Really good. Top layer is all crunchy because it was right under the heat. Inside is soft. I'm going to eat too much of this and I'm going to get sick. This is going to be great. Right. I don't need to taste the bread. I know what bread tastes like. Listen, I got to bring this up to Peggy. From my kitchen to your kitchen or wherever you're watching this, stay positive, test negative, wear a mask, get a vaccine, get a booster, have some noodles.